Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Bucks with the Technical Traders. Thursday night, December the 15th. These are the charts of the day. On the long side today, there were quite a few interesting stocks, and I wanted to point out some patterns that are developing. Super Media, which had dropped all the way down from 47 down to $1.10. Here's the high in, I believe it was April or May of 2010. You can see it dropped all the way down, bounced, came down again, went sideways, and then drifted down. But look what's happened over the last several months. We formed a left shoulder, a spike head, run up to the neckline, and the declining top line as well. A pull back to the moving average at 50. Kind of a symmetrical head and shoulders. Very nice. Today, a price volume surge on 1.2 million shares nearly. The stock exploded from 258 to 424. Although it pulled way back to 310, it was still up 58 cents, or 23%. And more importantly, broke out of the neckline. Now, the problem is it was a poor close. So let's see what kind of follow through, if we get any, there is in the next couple of days. I look for it to see if this gets up to first resistance around 360 and second resistance around 4.25. Through that, we could see a $5 or $6 stock. Stay tuned. ExamWorks, which had come down from the high 20s down to the mid-single digits around 6.5, has reversed in the last several sessions. They popped recently to the 50, pulled back for a couple of days on low volume, and today broke through the 50, declining tops line, lateral price resistance, all in one fell swoop, and to boot, closed just pennies off the high for the day. That's a very solid close, up 13% or $1.02. There is a gap fill here. If we take a look at these lows here and the gap in here, some resistance at 9.25. So let's see what happens if and when it does test that. But if it gets through it, I wouldn't be surprised to see the stock at 11, 11.5. Live had a huge day. In the last few days, it's just been moving tremendously. As you know that on Tuesday, the stock exploded from 132 to 639. Remember trading that. Yesterday, it pulled back down and tested the 443 range before bouncing up towards 6.5. This morning, backing off to 541, it then exploded to a new high at 737, but it pulled back a point and closed up 70 cents to 12%. Still, in the overall scope of things, you can see how lateral price resistance was taken out. Next target is up around the, let's call it 9.5 range at this spike high up in this zone, and then who knows where the stock can go after that. But it's certainly an interesting pattern. Huge volume here in the last 3 sessions, and a strong surge in technicals indicate something big going on, and perhaps we can see some more upside in the 10-12 range before it's over, before we get a more substantial pullback, but we'll see. WebMD, WBMD, nice pattern here. This is a stock that's come down from near 60 all the way down to the mid-20s. But over the course of the last few weeks, you can see how the base has been built. A couple weeks ago, it broke the declining tops line and ran right up to the resistance zone and then pulled back. Let's take a scroll in here. Nice orderly 2-week flag. Today, big explosive gap up and a move of 314 or 9%. Although that was off about half a buck from the high, it still closed up pretty well. And more importantly, closed above key resistance at the 36.25 area. So now that we're through this, we can see more upside progress, perhaps into the, at least to this low here, which is around 42.5. That would be my next target on it. So let's keep an eye on this one and see what kind of fall through we get. Dexo, DEXO. Now, many of us have been following this. Here's a stock that's come all the way down from the 30 range down to under $1, steeply under $1, almost to the point where it was close to a quarter, around 35 cents or so. It ran back up to $1 and $1.40, pulled back down to 70 cents, spiked up to $1.90, and has been flagging for 2 weeks. Now today, you can see the stock popped 11 cents or 8%. Now it has not quite broken out, so I need to see a surge back above 165 with volume, and then I want to see it taken out 188 and 190 zone, which could lead to 2.5. That's my short-term target. Delta Airlines, I'm pointing this out because of the nice base that's been developed, and also the fact that since this is a key line of resistance, and today the stock popped 44 cents to take out this high, there's a chance we test and maybe take out the $9 range, 8.98 being resistance. So just worth keeping your eye on. The volume's been good, technicals are improving. After a long decline, we've seen Delta come down from the multiple tops up in the mid-teens down to the 6 range. Looks like it could be turning around, but again, don't anticipate. Wait for the move. GNRC continues a fantastic run, despite the market is in a world of its own, and has run from around 15.5 up to 28.5 just in the last, let's call it 3 months, a little less than 3 months. The sharply rising angle of ascent may be difficult to maintain, but so far it's done that. And if we draw lines across the top of the channel and give yourself a projection here, maybe, just maybe, we can see the stock trading up near the mid-30s on an intermediate basis. I'll give you a short-term target around 30. ONXX. I believe this is going to be a winner next year. It came down hard from the mid-46 range or so down to the high 30s and stayed there for 3 or 4 days. Today it was up $1.44 or 3.7%. Now it's not quite broken out. I put it out as a swing trade today because I believe it's going to break out. Perhaps a little premature. We'll see whether I made a mistake or not on that today. But I do feel like we could see it run back into the 44, 45 range, and that's my swing trade target. Beyond that, top of the channel in the mid-50s may be doable, but let's hope we do hold the 36, 37 support zone first. IDIX up 28 cents today, and doesn't look like a lot, but it's a nice pattern. I wanted to show it to you. After breaking up through the zone here, it's been consolidating nicely in here. And if we make a move across 870 or so, I think we can get up towards 10. NCTY popped out of this little wedge yesterday and today followed through with another 27 cents or 3.7%. Volume was decent, but it's a low, thinly traded stock. Overall pattern though looks strong, and there is resistance at 830. My next target beyond that, I think we could see 9.5, $10. A bit overbought though short term. Be careful on that one. HEK. Check out the long-term pattern. Here we have a let's call it a 3-year. It's a 3-year basing pattern with a neckline or resistance up in the zone, not far from here, around 6 3/4. So we do get through here. That could set us up for a move into the high single digits, perhaps even 10, 10.5 at the 08 highs here. And lastly, today is Environ Pharma, which had a darn good session. This is a weekly chart. Hold on a second. Yeah, I was showing you HEK as your daily chart and the resistance. Big volume today of 6.7 million. Environ Pharma, which has been in a beautiful rising channel since it hit down around 10 about a year and a half ago. Moving up near 28 today, actually 28.25. But here's a pattern I want to show you. After the run up to resistance, long-term resistance, it came down, bounced, and then rolled over hard before bouncing sharply, backing off to form a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Nice hidden shoulders. Here's your neckline. Here's your breakout. Here's your breakout through resistance. Little flag, another flag here, and then pop. Strong move yesterday on Environ Pharma. It took it from late in the day. Took it from 23 and change to 27.80. And then today it backed off to 25.74, only to close at 27.80. Unchanged on the day. So a nice comeback. And double top here. Today's high around 28.25. If taken out, should lead to something in the low 30s perhaps. Let's call 32 our target. And that's it for the ideas for tonight and this week. You guys have a good weekend. I'll talk to you Monday. Bye-bye.